I am right now in a $300,000 profit on my Bitcoin and Ethereum trades. And yes, there is an even bigger trade upcoming for Bitcoin right now any moment. I'm gonna be talking about my price targets for my Ethereum breakouts because yes, the breakout I've been talking about for so long is exactly happening right now. I will be discussing my targets. I will be discussing where Bitcoin is exactly gonna go towards. And of course, there has been massive news hitting the market that really pushed up the prices ever so slightly higher. I'm gonna be breaking it down. I'm of course going to talk about the most important charts, my price targets, where I think this market is heading towards next year, my big trades, and of course the big update on all my trades here, and much more will be getting discussed on today's update video. So guys, don't forget to once again slap up that like button. Back above 1000 likes will be highly appreciated. And with that being said, let me jump straight away into towards today's update video. And before I dive in towards the charts, I quickly want to be saying the big news that happened yesterday. So you probably already know it, but if you don't, yesterday President Trump officially signed the executive order to allow Bitcoin and crypto in 401ks. And this basically means that Trump officially allowed the US retirement market, which is about $9 trillion, to be investing in crypto and Bitcoin. So this is allowing a major additional push for Bitcoin and inflows in towards Bitcoin. And honestly, if they're only going to be investing 5%, the Bitcoin price will already go absolutely bananas. So guys, this is very big news here. And also right now, since we've seen the labor market is a little bit more poor than we have been expected, there are right now 3 major rate cuts expected to be happening later this year. Already the first one is to be expected to come in 40 days from now on. And historically speaking, always whenever the Federal Reserve cut its interest rates, at least the last time this happened in 2024, Bitcoin increased within about 90% in a matter of weeks here. So let's see how it's going to be playing out this time around here. But of course, here is some But of course, this is a very interesting fact, what happened the last time around here. And of course, for Bitcoin right now, on the imminent short term, I want to be looking at this 4-hour downward sloping resist line, which we got rejected from multiple times. But of course, like I said in many videos before as well here, is that of course, the more times you're going to retest such a level, the more likely it is that we're going to be breaking eventually above it. And of course, Bitcoin always follows the liquidity, and still we have this massive level of liquidity laying above us around the 120 to about $121,000 level. And of course, eventually I do think we are going to be grabbing this topside liquidity, and that is of course absolutely going to be nice here, since we did open up these Bitcoin long positions when all the lower side liquidity was grabbed and there was only topside liquidity. So that was of course absolutely amazing. Of course, I was already in a Bitcoin trade, but I went double down, and of course that is right now paying dividends for me at this moment of time here. So currently $130,000 profit on my Bitcoin trade. The Ethereum trade I never closed here, and yeah, that trade is right now in $260,000 in profit. Before I continue deeper in towards my Bitcoin analysis, I just quickly want to be mentioning, of course, the part that the Ethereum compared to Bitcoin valuation indeed has been breaking above this very critical level in the market I mentioned many times before here. And honestly, the next target for ETH compared to Bitcoin is right now this 0.037 level here. And this is also the level, if we're going to be hitting it, I'm expecting a bigger correction. And that is also where I will be closing my Ethereum trade. And then, of course, I will be waiting. Let's see how the market develop, and then I open up a new one, but I want to be locking in the profits, of course. So this is of course the target I will be looking at to close my Ethereum trade, and that is of course going to be another, what is it, like 11% bump against Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin also pumps higher, it is going to be still a big move higher for Ethereum. That is expected. And the best part of this here right now, guys, is that you can currently claim a free $1,000 Ethereum position, and it's very easy to claim here. All you have to do is go to the link description of today's video, guys, and if you then press on that first link in today's video description to VX, guys, you have to sign up an account. And after that, if you download the application, guys, log in with the account you already signed up using that link below here, you can go and get your free $1,000 Ethereum position, which is by far very, very valuable, especially since we're also starting to be breaking out outside of this very important level of resistance, right? Of course, if you did open up this trade on Ethereum a couple days ago, you would have made a lot of money. But anyways, it's still a very good opportunity, because on top of that, guys, If you deposit some more funds, you can even claim some insaner deposit bonuses all the way up towards $30,000. And it's very important to understand this deposit bonus is going to be ending later today here. So this is literally your last chance to grab this bonus. So let me continue further in the video, because Bitcoin is basically also creating somewhat of a bull flag pattern. And yeah, you can see last time we broke out of such kind of a pattern, we of course obviously pushed all the way up towards about 120,000 US dollars. Ultimately, Bitcoin is also creating a massive inverse head and shoulders pattern. And of course, right now we clearly have seen the retest of the neckline, and I won't be surprised to see a continuation towards the upside. Of course, Bitcoin remains to be holding the daily upper sloping support line levels I've mentioned many times before. Even while we were trading at it or like retesting it, I said this is going to be the level to watch and is likely to be seeing support from. Of course, Bitcoin is ultimately also running it towards a major level of weekly resistance from the top side. If we can flip this level, guys, it's going to be ultimately very, very great. But I believe this is a major level of resistance. And of course, I remain to be believing we are only having about 2%. We only have about 2 months left in this Bitcoin bull market cycle. And of course, I'm not saying that altcoins can't pump anymore after that, because usually altcoins tend to top later than the Bitcoin market. But you understand the point. We are right now coming towards an end stage in this market. Of course, yesterday also, while Ethereum was still sitting on $3,600, I mentioned that there was a lot of liquidity being built up around $3,900 US dollars. And look at this. This is the power of course, the liquidity heat map, because the markets always follow the liquidity. If everyone goes short, the market pushes higher, it grabs out the liquidity. That is exactly what it did right now also on Ethereum. So if you've been watching the videos, congratulations, you've been absolutely crushing it, because we've been perfectly predicting that. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We highly appreciate it, since I'm so close towards 200,000 subscribers, and of course one day I would love to hit that 1,000,000 subscriber button. So that is of course absolutely amazing if you do that. But of course right now also on the Ethereum chart, we're looking at this major monthly consolidation. Retest is perfectly happened, and now we're starting to be pushing up back towards the upside. Ultimately, the target for Ethereum is not going to be for me depending on the ETH compared to USD chart, but more for the ETH compared to Bitcoin chart, of course. So yeah, this is the chart I will be looking at to say, okay, now I think Ethereum is going to be stronger or weaker. Then of course, also if I'm looking just purely at the interest on altcoins, it is clearly returning. We're seeing it happening on Google Trends. And just like I said, altcoins tend to top a little bit later than Bitcoin, and Bitcoin tends to top in like 2 months from now on. So this is important data I want you to understand here. This is the best time to be making money in crypto. I think there's a big continuation coming for Ethereum especially. You can see also the momentum is shifting compared to Solana. So all those funds that were flowing in towards Solana are right now coming into Ethereum again here. So this is really the time to pay attention. This is really one of the best times to be making money. And of course, this is indeed one of the best times to have a trade open on Ethereum. So make sure to claim that free trade in the link description of today's video. It's your last chance. But anyways, guys, this was it for me in today's update video. The only thing I want to be saying here, guys, if you haven't already, join my private group here. I share my trades multiple times here. I give updates on the market multiple times a day here. And yeah, guys, join it. I will see you there. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out. Goodbye.